another exciting week, and it's your biggest conversation. The most interesting conversation, of course, is Let's Be Real. And we have a good panel. Your usual suspects, of course, the noisiest man in town.
Yes, indeed. As Simon says, yes, indeed. Hey, and also the thirstiest man in town.
I'm your host, CEO Charles Otieno, alongside the beautiful Maria. Maria, take it off.
Yeah, it's been a long week, really long. And I can see we are so colorful today. That's a good sign.
Yes.
Yeah, very good sign. Okay, I am Maria, as usual. I'm a usual suspect. I'm the author of Marriage is a Scam and the editor-in-chief of The Young magazine. And wow, I can't wait to hear the topics today. You guys are not even ready. You're not ready. You are not.
And of course, our lady,
Yes.
our guest host tonight.
Dr. Juliet Kememia,
Karibu, Dr.
AKA
Uh-huh.
Madam Governor, AKA Kanu 001, Mount Kenya region.
Kanu.
But do I say yes?
And you're not
Chama
bragging.
I'm not a scammer. Kanu 001, that's what they call me.
Chama ya mama na
For
baba.
your information.
Oh,
Yes.
Ile yetu.
Ile
Jogo.
yetu.
Jogo.
Yes, Jogo. Love, peace, and unity. That's what I represent in this panel
Hey.
of scammers.
That's amazing. Wow, okay, that's interesting. We have interesting guests here today. And indeed, I'm the one and only Simon Says. I'm a content creator. I make content that makes you smile and think at the same time. But most importantly, I'm help you where you got your business and anything. You want to make that piece of content that will actually get you those sales? I'm your person. I got your back. And right now, we're going to keep it real with our first topic. What we got?
You're on your own, Simon.
I'm on my own.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's what my dad told me a long time ago.
You are on your own.
are you such a disappointment? Do you have any at home?
You see, what I'm saying so is that last week, the National Dialogue Committee has been taking suggestions, and groups have been going there for a long time. And this thing was actually raised when the controller of budget, Nyakang, went and said that her salaries has been inflated under state officers. The team, led by Kalonzo and the majority leader, Ishungwa, invited Energy Minister and other Treasury CS to come and explain why this is possible. And then the most interesting thing was the Treasury CS, the Energy CS chief saying that because of war in between Israel and Hamas, the cost of fuel will go up, and Kenyans might actually pay 300 shillings at the pump. I laughed. I just said, this country is going to the dogs. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, you're already shaking your head. Just go ahead. Let it out. I can see it. It's in your head. Go ahead. Let it out. Let it out. We want to hear it. Go ahead.
I have been attacked by holy anger. Because you were amused.
Yes.
I was so annoyed. I actually went to sleep
Yes.
because, and I feel sorry for those who voted the bottom up. We have seen Tanzania. I think it was yesterday in the print media.
Yes, it went down.
They have been able to do very significant intervention in the cost of fuel, and the price at the pump is down. So we want the president to replicate their strategies, to consult the gods that Samia Suluhu has consulted.
Mama Samia.
Mama Samia,
Yes.
consult those gods.
Yes.
Bring down the cost of fuel and bring down the cost of food.
One thing you can confidently say is that the government is the biggest guzzler of all time, because literally it's sucking us dry. And in all so many ways, and we're not enjoying the sucking, not the kind that you enjoy, wherever, you know. But even the other kind, it's really bad in the sense that what's happening is, realistically, there are other economic activities that happen behind the scenes that are constantly even messing up our. It's not because of G or the war. Then as G, they'll say, if all of a sudden there's a big issue in the States, they'll blame it there. all of this pushing the blames to different things that are happening all across the world, saying it's a scapegoat, saying as an excuse for incompetent behavior and incompetence of even managing even our economy, it's really absurd in the sense that like the way even you would ask the child like, why did you get this B? You know, it was because of G, whatever. Then you start blaming other things.
The teacher was black.
Yes.
And I wanted a white one. A white teacher.
Oh, I didn't like the teacher. The teacher even hated. The teacher was even looking at me
But
in a
you
bad
know,
way.
Mom, you never used to like the teacher.
Exactly.
That's why I failed that subject.
Exactly. Exactly. The same way.
That's how they are behaving.
Exactly. I could not even have said it better. The same way Ghanaian government is behaving is because of Hamas. They're the ones who are doing this. It's not us.
It's because of the handshake.
There's no handshake.
Because of Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yeah, subsidies.
It is because of Baba.
Yes, it's because of what happened.
Because
Now
of Expressway.
El Nino. Wait for El Nino to come. It's because of El Nino.
I think there's a question that I always pose to Kenyans every time that someone is saying, because I've never had someone who says, by the way, I voted this government in.
I didn't.
Right now, they are trying to get out of it like, it's not me, you elected. Even the ones that I know were really campaigning and saying, this is the right thing.
Yellow.
Bottom up, now they are like, I did not vote that. Because they are frustrated. But the good thing about Kenyans is that, you see, we are how many years? 1. 3 years later, you will be like, now that is when fuel prices go down, food prices go down, even
And
for
handouts.
and handouts. And then these people, we know that, oh, in the market, that's where you are full. Good, let's go to the market and do something big. Then you'll still go and vote that. But in real sense, with we know very well that the only thing that can make the country at least better, even if it's 2%, is taking the fuel prices down. Right now, they're not at 300. But we are anticipating them to go at 300.
We can smell it.
Now you're saying that if he speaks, he will say, no, it's not 300, it's going to be low. I doubt. I don't feel like he's going to talk about fuel. Okay, why do I feel like the conversation is going to frustrate you people more than you're frustrated right now?
He's going to say the dollar is going to be 100. Remember, the other pronouncement he did.
Okay, and then he'll tell you, that dollar, the printing of the dollar. We always have an excuse why we're making the mistakes. Like,
the gas cylinder story.
Yeah, the same.
What do you think?
No.
You see,
Where are we headed?
What shocked me is that I respect CS Churchill, but I was wondering, they're in the same meeting with the Treasury CS at the same time. CS Churchill is saying that he read from an Economist article. The worldwide, this is how we know very well the oil routes. The Israeli-Hamas war globally has made the cost of oil to go down internationally, and every country, that's why Tanzania is lowering, because of that, and they're not part of it. We buy our oil from the Mood Bank. It is not affected. The cost of, and why I'm shocked, by the way, is because CS for Treasury, this week, the Treasury releases the central bank bulletin. There's a bulletin, an internal magazine, and I have a copy of it. They send it. And one of the reasons in that magazine, which the CES is overseeing, indicated that the cost of crude oil has gone down by $20 per barrel, from 100 to 80. It is there. So this man is telling us, yet even the internal organs in the central bank and Treasury says that the oil prices have gone down. Now, why are you reading articles and verified articles as a CS Churchill, yet your internal economists are saying that the cost of crude oil is down? The world market is the same. You don't have your own oil. You see, and that's why M7 is saying that he will not be buying oil from Kenya because of this government-to-government deal, which this government entered into. You see, we have what we call oil marketers who import oil on behalf of one unit, and then it is distributed. Kenya's oil market is divided into local consumption and our export. Remember that we export our oil. It lands to the coasts in Mombasa, and then we distribute to the East and Central Africa region. We distribute to Uganda, we distribute some to Rwanda, Burundi,
South Sudan.
and South Sudan. Now, we have messed our oil industry so much that we are even lying. The CS goes to a national platform and lies that he's read an article. Yet the central bank internal organ, that bulletin actually says that the cost of fuel has to go down because the dollar and the production, and that the Israeli Hamas war has brought it down.
And you know, even you bring up like so many, not even lie. You know, they'll say, no, we're not lying. We're clothing the truth, because the truth sometimes can be too naked and harsh for Kenyans to understand.
Yes.
So even they just want to like even clothe it up. Even I sense even a bit of, you know, the subsidies were removed, and then there was the subsidies even that happened. Because I sense even is even beyond. I'm sure the what you call it, things started going left after that subsidies issue. Right when that subsidies issue that was going on during election time, by the time you go like this, that was when I knew, you could even tell, this from here, going onwards, there's something that's happening behind the scenes that you and I are not privileged to, and then they're going to divert their attention, even their blame onto, it's because of this. First it was because of something else. First it was because of Ukraine. Then now it's because of Hamas and that's going on, the Israelites that are going on. Even I could smell a bit of corruption. Even speaking about even corruption a bit here, I want to bring you guys up to date on something. The EACC has even brought up an issue with a lot of one specific majority leader in the Senate. He was out here now saying that indeed, those of you, some of those MPs, some of these leaders that you call when they go out in this, when they go out, they come to me, boss. They come to, like, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to any international trip without giving me a what? A kickback. And he said it so proudly, said it so boldly, with his mouth wide open. He didn't care what kind of breath was coming out. He just spat it out. And the main thing is, when it comes to even this point of even the ACC now coming out and saying, oh, this is going against the ethics, so on and so forth. And the majority speaker of the Senate, this is not the first time this guy has been under stretch. Because even when it comes even the time of bipartisan talks or even beginning, guess what's having the issue? Same guy. Because saying that, even I bought soup for these guys, for them to even come and actually agree with the finance bill. That was what at stake now. And the question I have for you guys is this. Knowing that even, this is not something new we've heard. We've heard even Sonko in the last administration, there was issues with him. Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria, legend. How many of these have you heard? The question I have for you is this. Even with the AACC coming out and saying this is against the ethics, even calling out even bad speaking, do you think that even politicians, they have more to gain by speaking bad than actually even making mum and being ethical? Have you seen that?
Now you're making me even more annoyed.
Why are you so annoyed?
Because of the way life has become really hard. I want to, so that we don't lose the debate on oil. The publication you're talking about, I think last week,
Yes.
had a report that the revenue from oil and from fuel has gone down by, is it
1.3 billion.
1.3 billion in a period of 3 months.
Yes.
So the price goes up, consumers park their cars. We park our cars. We use matatu. Those who are using matatu,
They
walk.
walk.
Those who are using boda, they walk. So it is such a lose-lose situation we are in. So increasing the cost to 300 and telling us we are on our own and blaming Israel and will not help this country. It will not help this economy. It will not help KRA realize more. Because people are just avoiding. Like now, I decided, I do not want to be using my personal car. Let us do carpooling so that we save. We don't have the money to spend. So the entire policy direction is extremely faulty. It is retrogressive. And we are slowly and I don't know whether it's slowly or very fast, going into a big hole. Because KRA will record a shot. By the time they are doing their mid-year of this financial year, their collections will be 50%. Same time last year, before the elections. So we have lost it. And taxing people is not the way to go. It's not the way to go.
That's key, actually.
It's not the way to go.
And what do you feel about, do you feel like even our leaders, even the spats that they're doing right now, even concerning even the majority leader, the EACC scenario, how do you think even them adding on with this this specific story, even about the majority leader, do you think the EACC really has any power over these leaders, even to even tell them to like behave with their mouth?
I feel sorry for our institutions. Because you remember during campaign there was this thing of state capture. These institutions
Someone's
are
pet
a
project.
demo of state capture. They cannot breathe. They are here.
Oh, the cop and the net.
The CEO, I listened to him when he gave his submissions to the bipartisan talks, and he's got Talib, the CEO of EACC. The chairman is the Bishop, Twalib. I listened to him, and I was so sorry that he's occupying that seat. Because, Aki, it's a death certificate that is just waiting for a signature. He can't breathe. He cannot prosecute. He cannot do anything.
He's handicapped.
He is handicapped.
What?
EACC is toothless.
Bulldog.
You are the one who has said that.
He said he's a toothless what?
Bulldog.
Bulldog.
Oh.
It can't bite.
What
it
do you
can't
think?
bite. It
okay.
can't bite.
You know, funny enough, when you're told the truth, it hurts. When you're told the lies, we are disgusted. That's the funny thing, because he said he receives kickbacks. We don't like to hear that, yet we know it's true. When they tell us the truth of what they are doing, we are also offended. So generally, we are angry with what is going on.
Yes.
That we don't care about the body that says that it's wrong or right, because if it's wrong or right, they would have done the right thing. Because this one is just bringing out the information. Politicians are not getting anything by being honest. They just have so many skills that it's so hard to hide them anymore. Like you find that you can't keep removing every cuticle there is. Now they're built up. There's nothing you can do now. They're starting to shed them. They will speak nonsense because their lives are okay. Right now, I feel like they are the ones who are gaining from all this fiasco. Now, if they speak anything, it's okay because no one will ask them. We are here suffering. And I feel like there should be rules against them telling us their pain or laughing at us, but toothless bulldog.
Have you noticed, have you noticed that the more the foul mouth a politician has, the more currency he tends to build over, like even when you looked at it, even though there's a short period of time where he gets that heat, but then over long term, he builds more political currency. Have you also noticed that?
You see, the problem
Especially
is,
from Mount Kenya.
you see the way we are
They are called
wired.
togeges.
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 You know these togeges, and I would not get into togeges because the togeges are the most confused lot in the Mount Kenya region.
Togeges.
Those togeges do not reason.
And they don't know what they're saying. They also don't know what they're saying. If you listen to them, you won't even believe they're saying that.
They are so annoying. Mageges.
I don't want to talk about togeges, but
I've learned a new word, but yes. What did you want to talk about? Go ahead.
you see, the problem is that the currency you're saying is because Kenyans, and I would pick from the Tugege vibe, that Kenyans elect people who are the most nonsensical lot. Look at it this way. Kenyans are lied to towards the election. And Kenyans know that they're being lied to. They were told they'll be bottoms up. They are told, in 100 days I'll do this. They are told this is what we are subsidizing production. So many things.
Not consumption.
Not consumption.
Rhetorics.
They were told that oil, the cost of fuel will go down, and it's not a Hamas and it's not war. So Kenyans do not like people who tell them the truth. If you tell them the truth, they will not elect you. And that's why if you look at areas where people like the truth, they elect some high caliber people. But the people who give handouts, people who have questionable academic backgrounds, people who they are rapists. For example, someone shoots a voter and is still elected.
Imagine.
And he's one of the better performing ones.
And you are vindicated.
And
It is now one of the better performing
And then
ones.
EACC still gives you. People who have not cleared school, whose we've been in court with because of certificate and it's forged. And they're sitting in parliament. So parliament is a den of thieves.
And COG.
Parliament is a den of thieves. So those thieves regroup, most of them. So if you are the lone voice of reason, you are swallowed in there. The rest of the guys will just tell you. And that's why you hear EACC is saying there's corruption. Because when those guys wake up every morning, they ask themselves, how do we make money in that parliament? And from who? And by who? And how much? Is it through trips? Remember, it's all salaries. They make money through all those travel accommodations abroad and all this. And the worst thing, they carry their girlfriends and
Even their wives.
A quick one. I just want to flip it because this
Poor
narrative,
wives.
this narrative
Wife
we've had,
material.
this thing we've heard before about
Marriages
corruption.
have come.
This thing we've heard before about corruption and everything. Like we've heard it all before. Even right now, even as the president even is giving the State of the Nation address, his first one. I want Kenyans to take a step back for a second. Let's look at it in a different perspective. Stop now looking at the leaders so much and point at them. Can you even you yourself who's watching? Can you remember who you even voted for women rep? Can you even remember who you even voted for MCA? Can you even remember a year ago, almost a year ago plus, who you voted for Senate, governor, and maybe even president? I'm sure maybe you can remember. Can you even remember those positions? If you cannot remember, you need to also audit yourself at this moment in time based on the decisions that you have made as a Kenyan to actually even reflect and saying that what decisions am I making and what outcomes am I receiving from the decisions I'm actually now making when it comes to now governance and also policy. Because at times it's so easy.
Simon.
We already know this is a corruption-free zone, but we already know this is not a corruption-free zone.
Simon,
Yeah.
do you expect Togeges to know all that?
No, can you call him Kenyans?
Togega voters.
Are you calling us? Are you calling us?
I'm
that?
saying, do you
are we the Tugegas now?
No.
Who is it? No, I'm saying as Kenyans, we need to look at ourselves and remember who we actually voted for. Can you actually audit yourself starting from there? Who did you even vote for? Some of you cannot even remember.
Yeah, the ones who cannot remember
Yeah.
Togeges, of course.
Yes, exactly. And that says a lot about your ability to actually now choose. You're not making a cognitive decision. And hence you're choosing,
Okay.
Isn't that right?
No, the next story is even going to be funny. So 900,000 people sat for their KCSE. And we know in the next 1-2 months, they are going to be applying for IDs. Now, ID has moved from 100 to 1,000. The government is going to be making 1 billion on IDs alone. And we know very well they all have to have IDs. Now, let's go to passports. Marriage certificate. Okay, right now, those people who are fearing to get married when it was cheap, now we are sure.
Just give up.
I'm not married.
But the problem is, if they do that, we are not getting marriage insurance. Because, when you get married, medical insurance becomes easier for the wife and the children. Medical, the health is already expensive. Now, this marriage was helping people like us who are married, and we are hoping that this insurance can help us treat us and our children. Let's continue. Now, the passport has gone high. You're not leaving the country. You're complaining like, no, you're not leaving the country, you're staying here. What is the reason for all these things to go high, before we even talk of IDs, 1 billion on IDs alone? What is the reason for all these things to go high? For example, something as basic as a national ID, like a national ID, to go that high. Some of us, before we hire nannies, we need them to come with IDs. Now, sorry for moms. Very sorry. So, Simon, you feel like jumping. Don't jump, just speak, just tell us.
No, as someone who often loses their ID because I engage in other activities that happens to lose it every now and then. I thank God I applied for mine before these things came into play. One thing I note is a national ID, it's a right, isn't it? for you to actually have your national ID. And from 100 shillings, which was a bearable expense, which you can actually undergo and actually not
To
go
you, from a point of
to some
privilege.
extent. No, but then even if from 100 to 2,000 shillings, that's over 10x. A national ID is a basic form of identification that's going to be used in so many aspects of your life. Forget even the passports and other things.
So in 2
The
months.
ID itself, Xing it all the way to 2,000 shillings, that in itself is a sign of even incompetence. Because even the way it was written, even in that X on the Gazette notice, you know, the 2,000 shillings did not have the comma. So I thought it was maybe a typo that it was 200, but they added the extra zero by mistake. Kumbe is actually 2,000. And now the thing is that even that 2,000 that even now you pay now, so even that was even the amount you give the guy to even go very fast. Where chap I want it by next week. That's usually what you used to even, now it's the actual expense that you have to undergo for you to even get the basic need. This is a sign that indeed the government does not care about your pockets. They care about theirs. And they need to actually now put indeed their deficits and their things above your necessities and your livelihoods. And they don't even care that indeed you do not have the basic thing for you to survive and go out there and get government services. In every government institution, what do you need in order for you to enter, in order for you to sign in? A national ID card. You would think that the government will make it easier for you to be able to access its services through which are providing you for, in case you lose it, this should actually be this way. In all honesty, if it was a fully fledged functioning government that was for you, these things should be absolutely free. The ID itself. All the other documents, maybe those are choices. See, all the other things are choices. Marriage, you choose to get married, which I'm not. But now the thing is now, and other things like passport, you choose to travel because of one thing or another. ID, I don't choose to get an ID. I need it in order to access other services that I will need from the government. And that is one big issue I have. That's why I'm standing on the ID thing. How do you over 10 times it and then now say that indeed you're a government of the people? When was the last time you lost your ID?
I've never lost.
Hey!
But of course, there is such serious contradiction, and there is such impunity. You know, people are crying every day, and we are waking up to new taxes. In fact, somebody reacted to the ID scam, because I'm calling it a scam, and said, you know, this is class 8 boys have finished, and they are going for circumcision. So the circumcisers, many of them have put up a lot of posters. This is where we are doing it, churches, stuff like that. So somebody tagged one of those posts. Have you paid tax? Because now that is where the next taxation will come.
Stop
in.
giving
the
them ideas.
circumcisers.
No, that's an idea.
they were being given ideas because now they are taxing everything.
They're going to tax me that.
Aye.
So, I think that the story should be the pain of living in Kenya.
Yeah.
The pain of being born and dying in Kenya, because if you look at the taxes which have been increased, it starts with the birth certificate, which was 50 shillings. It's gone up. You've gone to marriage certificate, which has 50,000. If you go to that, the 5,000, which was the government here at AG's, has gone 50,000. The birth certificate, the death certificate has gone up, and if you lose your ID. So the pain Kenyans are undergoing under this government is, you cannot even compare it. It's like people who have actually lost any human feeling, that most of the people who require these things are people, one, without any income. Zero income. You've targeted the people with income, of course. You've taxed all their pay slips to the end. Now you've gone to people who are earning,
tax.
yes, people who are now earning nothing.
And
So it is a pain. If you're born, it's pain.
If you're dying.
Yeah, it's pain, because even the,
Living
remember
is
the
pain.
death certificate, even the widowers
Even
and the widows,
living.
is a fee there which has been put in that Gazette notice.
Even mortuary are increased priced.
They've overpriced each and everything. And that's why now I understand why the West was so happy to have this presidency, and they did not want anything to do with the other side of the coin, because they knew this presidency is a presidency the country we can control. We can tell them these are the taxes we want, so that, you see, you cannot tell people kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea if you are overtaxing them. And it is more painful that you are saying a kid who is born outside Kenya and you want citizenship is $1 million shillings. Assume you are paying all that money and it's used prudently. No question. But the worst thing is that that money, I said last week, is going to pay a debt which we have not registered. A debt, we are paying a debt without a register. So you don't know what you are paying and how much you are paying, or who you are paying. So probably you are paying someone and you are picking it back to your pocket.
But for
And
the
that's what
marriage
the Auditor
certificate,
General
I would
said.
feel like we are paying dowry to the government, because this is just too much amount of
Dowry.
Yeah, because this is a man who is trying to marry, and then you are here telling him now you need this amount, and he's trying to start a life.
And he doesn't even have money.
He doesn't have when you.
So if you added today,
no one has money when they are doing a wedding, by the way, and that's why we have those groups. Now those groups, they're not making sense, because it's what people are overcharged.
yeah, of course. Now.
There's a new budget line.
Yeah,
There's now a new budget line.
So we are going to cut down on food to pay the government.
That's for lucky you guys.
And please, if you are coming to ask for dowry from my parents, dowry should go low, because now you see the government also needs to be paid dowry because they raised this child.
And the thing is, that's for us who are like not married. Now you guys are already married, so it's,
yeah, it's true. It's
like
true. By that, it's going to be hard. Simon, you're not seeing from the point of, like, for example, health is expensive.
Yeah.
So people and the insurance wants you to have a marriage certificate for you to have your kids or your wife treated on insurance. Now imagine the certificate has gone high, and you can't afford it for that marriage, and you can't even afford health. So you're already taxed, disturbed, depressed, tortured, and dead. Like, you're not even surviving in this country. Like, in this country, we are not surviving right now.
It's oppression.
We are oppressed. And the problem is, I feel like, when they say that women, we take it all in until the day we get tired, and then all of a sudden when we are done, we are done. Kenyans, surely. How long are you taking it in?
Are we almost thinking impeachment? Are we almost thinking that? But before we think that, why don't we just take a break real quickly? But we'll be right back, only on Let's Be Real.
New Superstay Vinyl Ink from Maybelline, New York. Shake up your long wear with no budge vinyl color. Color lock formula. Up to 16-hour wear. New Superstay Vinyl Ink, Maybelline, New York.
Hey, why this is the first part of this conversation? I've left, I know, people depressed.
Yeah.
Taxes, more taxes, and the Tugege is still smiling in the villages. But I think it's life in Kenya. And we have to say the way it is. We do not sugarcoat it. We do not lie about it. We know how you are feeling. And we'll express exactly what you feel. And now let's move on to the second part, ladies and gentlemen. We move to the next interesting bit now.
Okay.
This week, Nini Wachera, a very good actress, a good friend of mine, said that for all those 20 years she's been in showbiz acting, there's nothing she's earned from it. This reminds me of Omosh of Taidi High asking for help. It reminds me of my good friend Maurice Odumbe, the cricketer, after doing all that. And there are many, many sportsmen and women and people in the art and the industry.
Congested.
Mustafa the other day couldn't even treat the mother, a very good friend of mine. So it begs us the question, how do we honor our talent in this country? There's a Ministry of Sports, Culture, and all this. But does it actually reach these people? Do we actually ring fence them so that they can survive?
Even, let me talk even as a creative myself, as someone who makes content even online and everything. One thing I would even tell even people in the creative industry is this. One thing is that Kenya is just now starting to give due respect to content creation and so on and so forth. You know, Washera has been in Sense8, so many big projects, Netflix movies, so on and so forth. Even she was mentioning that that her price, she cannot do. The biggest issue that she had even with her is because her price is too high for producers here, because the producers want to pay a certain amount so that they can actually keep a majority of the funding for themselves. And what you have to do even as a creator is this. You have to make the bulk of your money behind the lens, or even behind even what you actually do as a content creator. Even you as a content creator, either you make your content, yes, you do get your brands every now and then, but to get a bulk of cash, what happens is you get a heavy load of cash one time, but there's a long dry spell in which that money has to be stretched. And in that dry spell, you also have to now remember, how am I going to stretch this dollar, or what am I going to be doing within this dry spell, because you're not always going to be on heat. You're not always going to be the person that will actually be caught and actually be chased after. You're not always the hot girl in the streets. Ask any woman who was actually growing up and they will tell you the story.
Huh?
And the thing is...
Are you talking, you know the way, look at Maria. You see the way Maria and...
It's the truth. And
I am
it's the
still
truth.
the hottest girl in the street.
is he overstepping his boundaries?
Yes.
You know it.
He's touching live wire.
But is it the truth? No, but I'm saying you also...
No,
not
just
even,
look at us.
Yes.
And we hot.
You,
How long do you think?
But now the main thing is, you need to find, just like even let's stick even with that topic, even you need to find another aspect that feeds into, because even what you take pride in, even as a grown woman, is not the same thing you take pride in as a younger lady. Even as a creator, what you mainly make money from right now, it should also now complement another stream of income. Sadly, that's the reality on the ground, and what you need to realize is turn your creative into a business so you can actually now feed the market and actually be able to get a constant stream of income, rather than relying on this superficial fame that you think that you have, which now should equal a certain amount of payment, which is not always the case. And that's a sad reality, and that's one thing even I would even tell many creatives and people in front of the camera.
But I feel like it's not superficial, because already the celebrity mentality in Kenya is too high. Like when you are high there, you're supposed to keep the standard. You can't be a celeb and drive this car. You can't be a celeb and wear these clothes. Like, you're supposed to keep a certain standard, and the money you're making and the standards you're supposed to live in do not actually match. And if they match, it's hard for you to invest for the future because of that. Most of these people were paid well at their time. If you listen to them, like Wingula Moto was a huge project. When Washera did Wingula Moto, it was a huge project. These people were paid well. And that's where when now their fame starts fading, it's hard for them to get jobs, because now they feel like, I was paid like this. Now, how am I paid? How can I accept this pay? Am I lowering my standards? Forgetting that, when it comes to being a celebrity, that is not something that is lifelong, like you're going to do it forever. And people keep, and we are Kenyans, we know very well that we keep loving different scandals every single day. Today this scandal was interesting, this one will be interesting. And that's why right now, for someone to be famous, they chase clout. They don't just do clean content for them to get huge numbers.
But someone's rate card should not be defined by their fame. Someone's rate card is defined by the work that they have done.
But this work is expensive. Remember that if you like me because I live this kind of way, I do this kind of thing. I can be this simple, and you like me like I like you because you do this and this and this. The money you pay me is relevant to my standards right now to live like that. When I go higher, I take my standards high because we are human beings. Now the problem with them is, I start with the problem with them. The problem with them is that they don't actually have time to do a side hustle, because you're supposed to this content, and they don't know how to do passive income kind of thing. You know, like Maria would say, Maria, I do fitness in the morning. In the evening, my books are in the supermarket. So even if I stayed home today, you passed by the supermarket and bought my book. For them, they don't have much passive income or another business set aside for them to say that, okay, I am doing content creation, yes, but there's a business of mine that is running that gives me this money. And another thing, I feel like these people should also be educated about wealth creation, savings, and all this, because I feel like the way we scream when we see them is not giving them the opportunity to know that we are screaming at you for now, Nini. Tomorrow, we'll be screaming at Maria. The other day, okay, it's this one we'll be screaming at. So we are just like picking and choosing celebrity however we want. And let's face it, human beings will not focus on you for the rest of their lives. You're even trying to survive marriages, surely. Being a celebrity, it's hard.
What do you think about talent nowadays? Like,
I'm trying to understand your industry of celebs and content creation. And,
yeah, that's what I want to
so
say
this
from
this panel is also a learning panel. So I may not comment much on the story of, you're calling her who?
Nini Washira.
I'm hearing it for the first time here.
Okay, Omoshu cried so much.
Omosha, yes,
Yeah,
that one I
he
had.
cried so
Congestina I had.
yes.
But me, what is in my heart are the freedom fighters. Because you see, the suffering that Washera is suffering today is what the ex-Mau Mau freedom fighters are suffering today. They did so much. They sacrificed so much. They were displaced. And 60 years down the line, nobody seems, there is nothing to write home about. So, as we discuss how people should manage change, because my understanding of Washa is like she has been up there and now she's down here and there is nothing to smile about.
Yeah, and the job she grew up doing.
So we need an overhaul of our value system. We need an overhaul of intergenerational relationships, and we need a value system that takes care of people, individuals, and rewards them for the value they contributed while they were in that space. Because it's a value that has led to many lives being transformed today. Because I'm sure even this Washera has inspired very many people.
Sure.
She has created very many offshoots, and now we have celebs, many celebs that are doing much better than her. So we need a conversation, a value system that needs to be integrated in our thinking. So we must change the way we think and how we treat people who have contributed to value. And years later, they are not in a position to, they are vulnerable, they are struggling, yet there is no system to hold them. That's what we need. We have to do a mindset change, shift, and learn from mistakes that we have.
I think you've captured it pretty well. And the first thing Simon said that the rate card is always there. If you're an A-lister, you're an A-lister. You cannot go down. And the problem we have in the industry is, especially the film and the movies, I'll put it aside, is the fact that we do not have a proper organization that deals with issues related to film. We have the Kenya Film Classification Board, which deals with only complete or already produced content, does not participate in production and how the process of creating this content. What we need is to reorganize our Kenya Film and Classification Board and the Kenya Film Commission to deal with matters of talent, matters of industry, matters of production, so that you have a whole process that is clear. And this is what Tanzanians have done. This is what Nigerians have done. That's why Nollywood went to the world. That's why Nigerian music is world class now. It's because of the structures which has been laid down by the government, by the industry itself, to propagate and to safeguard the rights, the income, and the processes of that industry. Now, if you go to Tanzania here, there's a group called BASATA, which registers musicians. They ban, they approve, they agree on your music. BASATA is for music in Tanzania. They have a film one. That's why if you go, there are bongo movies everywhere now. Because it's a structure. And this structure is clear. You've never had in Tanzania or in Nigeria, you do 2 movies, you're done, or 3, you're well off, because the royalties are well taken care of. All the movies Nini Wachera has done till now, her royalties and all that are safeguarded, should have been safeguarded by now. What Maria was talking about, Wingu, those are sitcoms. The sitcoms will not pay you that much because they are from the media, but they'll give you an opportunity to put you in the stage where people can see your talent. So, but you'll do other productions, but those productions you are supposed to be paid. Even my good friend, the late Joseph Olita, the guy who did The Rise and Fall of Idi Amin, suffered a lot because there was no structure. The movie was a blockbuster, worldwide blockbuster. But if you looked at him, you'd find him in Kenya cinema walking home. Walking home, you did a movie which was shown in Hollywood as the main character, yet you'll walk home. But internationally, you do that single movie of that standard.
You'll get a
and you're good for
pension.
that's your pension.
Residual
Yes.
income.
Yeah, you enjoy
Every
residual income.
month.
So you do not even need all these things that you need a side hustle. If you're an artist, let's just put structures. Let the government provide structures for our people to thrive. They are saying they have a Minister of Youth and Sport. What do they do? Handouts. JJ Masiga died, the most renowned footballer, driving a taxi in Kilimani and Hurlingham. That is how we mistreat our heroes. And back to Mau Mau, basically, just to finalize, the people who fought for the independence of this country, and Gitu Wakahengeri is a very good friend of mine. Gitu did, and his team, these people fought and fought. But when the repatriation, the first one, came to be given land, the new government took the money and sold the land to what we call the Ngatis. Do you know them? Do you know the Ngatis?
Imagine.
And the Mau Mau were left. And then there's some people who pretend to be sons of Mau Mau today.
Including 002.
This is now what's really happening.
Honestly, that conversation
Yes,
has to be
We
taken
have
to the next level.
it has to.
Yes. But anyway, that's a story
But
for
now,
another
but then,
day.
yeah, exactly. Even, but then,
Story
you know
for
what?
another
But
day.
do you know one person that people voted for? Kawera. Guy, have you seen the way that she's
Yeah.
Have you seen the way she's been actually been taken through?
I slept at 2
Well,
and I took a balozi. Let me confess. I've never drank that beer, but I took a balozi because to me, Kawera is the ambassador. Balozi wa mama. So I took balozi in her honor
They say governor
to
ni
celebrate
mama.
survivor.
Governor?
Governor ni mama.
Governor ni mama.
And you know, they call me Madam Governor.
Yes.
And it's not a scam like marriage where you have written. It's for real. Google there. Kanu Governor wa Kiambu. It is me.
It is you. You are in your highness.
High Excellency.
but even
That's what they call me. So Kawera's survival was the biggest win for me.
why?
Because there is no other impeachment that is going to happen in this country. It was signature. That is number 1. Number 2, 2027, you will see. The 14 million who did not show up to vote,
Yes.
they will show up to vote for women. I can tell you, for sure and for real. And the 7 million who voted for Baba. We will have 21 million head start as women because of what happened last night. I am a happy woman.
You see this?
I am happy.
So Kawera's exoneration.
Tribe women is happy. And you know when tribe women is happy, Baba is happy, and Kenya is happy.
What did you think about Kawera's
I
exoneration?
feel like Kawera is quickly going into fame. I
The
feel
next
like,
president.
Like he's really getting famous so fast. So my point is, I don't know if he's calling the fame or the fame is just finding her. I'm not sure if she's the one looking for the fame, like I am intentionally going to be on the headlines, or
It is
it's
the,
just
you know, she's,
natural.
you know, she's a bishop.
It's just
it's the God she loves,
Okay,
she serves.
you know,
What did you? Because even one thing.
last week we talked about this men of God. You know, now when we start putting
Woman of God.
woman of God in it,
She's a bishop.
But I would feel okay. She tried. She.
No, it was awesome.
She.
I loved the Senate. I love those men. They were calling themselves, what are they calling them? Delegates? You know, women don't vote in Senate. And I'm very annoyed with that. They need to make an amendment so that women vote. Women don't vote.
In
The
2023.
Constitution does not allow the women,
Even women senators.
no, the women nominated.
Oh, okay, got you.
It allows only the 47. They were being called the delegates.
Yes.
Only to vote. That is pure discrimination.
No,
But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, we need to change our laws.
We should have presented that as women at Bomas.
Yes, we should.
Because it's unfair. Because if you go to the National Assembly, everything that is being voted, everybody votes, whether you are nominated or not.
I got you.
So
Why shouldn't the nominated, which is one of the strategies to achieve the 2/3 gender rule, be denied to vote, especially on the most crucial decisions?
I think it's just an oversight of the Constitution, and it has to be rectified. But I wanted to say something about the history of Meru and women.
Go ahead.
The history of Meru and women is that the first woman who was elected in Meru, the name is escaping my mind, was actually removed because Meru is a very paternal society.
Patriarchal.
Extremely, they do not elect women. Among these other regions, Meru and Kisi, same WhatsApp group, by the way. Same WhatsApp group. Even Kisi, even during President Moi's time, it's only Catherine Yamato who will get a nomination. That's why we love this constitution, the 2010 constitution, because it gives women voice, it gives women
And space.
power and space. The other regions have always voted women. Meru have not, and Meru are still suffering. Mwangaza's problem is from the historical perspective that the men have not accepted a woman leader in that region. And it will always perpetuate itself because they have that in their mentality for a very long time. Now, Kawira on her side, she has also, and when I'm saying I'm very indifferent, is because Kawira forgot, and she says, I always say that Kawira picked the position of not how to be a governor, because you know for sure that the society you live in, these men are chauvinistic, and that's their nature. Now, if you want to do something, be sure they'll oppose you. Number one, they'll oppose you by the virtue.
Nice.
And if you look at the way the MCAs talk on the streets, they do not accuse her of many tangible stuff. It is just the male chauvinism which comes out. Huyu mama, you see the way he talk, oh mama,
Haheshimu wa
anatuambia.
mama, haheshimu
You
viongozi.
understand? Aheshimu viongozi, aheshimu wazee. Then Kawira tries to get in names. The worst thing is to name a road after your husband when you think you're pleasing the men folk, but they still turn it on you.
And they did.
And they did.
And they
It
did
was
it
one
very
of
proudly.
the counts.
And they did it very proudly. And even they,
Yes,
even the main thing, even when it comes to even that aspect, when you know that even you're leading in a group of a lot of men, even when you're leading them, the key thing is now, is she now really going back to the drawing board now that she's been exonerated? Does she now come with like now a headstrong, because now she has
She has to really learn corporate
The ropes.
governance
Yeah,
and
yeah.
management.
Yeah, she needs to.
She really, really need to, because number one, remember these MCAs won't let her.
go.
They will still go for her. And number two, I always say Kawira must realize that running a county is not running a church. You see, when you go to a church, we are submissive because the voice of the Lord tells us how to operate. When you go to the county, there are people who want to steal from the state coffers. There are tenders which are fake. There are many things. It is a whole different, yes.
There are air suppliers.
Yes.
Okay.
How many times?
Now let's go to a lighter story. When Noah built an ark, you know, when the dove was sent to bring this evidence that the flood was out. So our dear president had prayed, God had answered that there were not going to be floods, and now we have floods. However, this is another story. We have a holiday this coming week for planting trees. Wow, that is nice.
Pandamiti.
So, I hope, I'm a very positive person. My positivity here is the money that was supposed to help with the floods is going to help with the floods that are ongoing, and at the same time, get seedlings to plant trees. This is me giving advice to the government, to plant trees, because I don't want to hear something like there's a budget for the seedlings. I don't want to hear that. I just don't want to hear that.
You will.
Oh. How frustrating.
Can I predict?
Kenyans, are you going to plant
Billions.
this coming Monday, please? I need to know that, and which one. Please plant mangoes, because food is already so expensive. So,
An avocado.
And avocados.
And macadamia.
yeah.
Planting trees now, really. Like we're having a whole holiday.
We actually taking the branch. You know, we need the branches to show that the flood is out now. You can get out.
Really?
Yeah. So
Now, here's the thing.
So that you plant. Because surely, how do you plant trees on 3 meters?
on 3 meters, because
Deep
we are suffering from
flash
floods right now.
floods.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. When you have a whole holiday for planting trees, the other thing is that why do you see the need to now vacate a whole holiday, make it a whole holiday, in the sense of removing economic activity for a whole day for the sake of like one activity? And now here's what I start thinking. Who does the government want to showboat to? Because it's not to us. It's to showboat it to someone else, saying that indeed, look at us, we are going green. We're not only Mogoka, we're actually now doing something about our thing. We're showing that we're environmentally conscious. We are so good at now making sure that indeed we are now doing our due diligence to make sure that what? Global warming does not overtake us. We're doing our due diligence. Who was here just the other day? We're having a whole conference. Was there a green conference? Then he was here doing with his, the little e-card that he did and everything. So I honestly think this holiday, which we Kenyans, most of us are planting a tree. Oh no, this is a day for pandamiti. If you know, you know. But then the thing is, what you need to do is, at this moment in time, a lot of Kenyans are just going to take it as a holiday, but just to do whatever. But the government is doing this to show both that indeed we gazetted a whole day for our nation to take activity for us to plant trees, because Kenya is doing its due diligence to contribute towards the Going Green initiative. And what is that for? Kaching. The government is not doing it just because out of the blue. The government is doing it to cater to an audience whom they are indebted to.
You know,
so that is the reality of the situation. That's really, for Kenya, take it as a holiday.
You know what I feel? I feel like the government now is behaving like a 19, 17 teenagers. You know how teenagers are? I need to dress well for people to see me. Now they're there. They're like, this dress looks good on me. Let me put it on. Walk around, get some compliments, smile. It's like they're trying to attract attention that is not even relevant. Because some of us have a lot of issues we're dealing with, bigger. We have big things that are worrying us. You don't tell me that this is someone, remember, you tell a boda guy, people are not going to work because what they're planting, we know they're not going to plant trees, they're going to stay home and sleep. This boda guy is losing customers. The economy is going to suffer for that one day of planting trees. We have organizations here that are so big on environment. We should be encouraged to plant them because we want to. We all do planting trees. Don't you see there's these charity moves that people make that, okay, come, we are going to plant trees. We do them. Yeah. All the time, all the year round.
When was the last time you planted a tree?
Last month.
Serious?
Yeah.
And you? When was the last time you planted a tree? I just want to know. Like, go ahead.
I plant trees all the time.
Oh, we do it
You plant trees all the time?
Yes.
So now,
okay, that's interesting.
So now we need a holiday to start planting trees.
I'm working with Dedan Kimathi Foundation. We have done 4 million trees.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was
Last week we had his birthday, 103.
Yeah.
and we did
People plant trees.
100,000.
Yeah, people plant
100,000.
plant
So
trees
there
every
is no
day.
big deal
There's no
about
big deal.
planting trees.
Unless the
Let me
government
tell
is
you
showing
what I
off.
am smelling.
What do you smell?
A big rat
can smell it?
called carbon credits.
Yes.
So we will be told that the billions that have been allocated to tree planting on the tree planting day is being invested in carbon sinks. So we are creating carbon sinks. And these carbon sinks will give us money. In the next 10 years, the trees that are going to be planted today, every tree will give you $2. 10 years, that is carbon credit. Have you ever had nonsense and a scam, and I'm not embarrassed to talk about carbon credits as a scam? Why can't we talk about harvesting the water that right now we have in plenty, so that tomorrow and the day after and next year, we don't have the drought that we have experienced in the last 1 year? Why can't we talk about serious, sustainable mitigations for climate change? You know, where will the trees be planted and there is water up to here? How will we dig the holes?
We will be on Sakaja's boat.
What is wrong with
Digging.
what is wrong with us? What is wrong with the government? And why gazette it anyway?
Make it a whole holiday.
Do you know how much the private sector is going to lose? That one day people will not report to work.
Yeah.
I am totally embarrassed. Totally. And that carbon credit, let me not call it nonsense for lack of a better word. But please, save us this scam. Let us do urban farming for food security. Let us harvest the water. Let us convert from electricity to solar and wind, and even use these flash floods to generate energy. Let us have a very serious energy conversation. Because we plant trees today, we don't give people an alternative source of fuel. Tomorrow they will cut. They will cut even small trees like this to go and light a fire.
Yeah.
So can we be serious, honestly, as government and all stakeholders and as communities, even us at community level? Can we start now using our heads, because these government directives are just a scam? Let us come up with local solutions.
But
I rest my case.
But you know, smart people are not in government. Smart people are not in government, because if you look at
And when we ask for votes, they refuse to vote us because we are in Kanu.
When you look at people who are advising the government, you will feel like smart people are not in the government. Because the things that they are saying every single day, the projects, the planning, the speech, everything they are saying, clearly shows that we don't have smart people in the government.
But anyway, I will not say we don't have smart people. Is that the interests they have is very personal. You know, when you get into government,
We get greedy.
You forget about your values, and you start seeing things in a different view. But I wanted to say about, I really appreciate the fact that people should plant trees. I believe in planting trees. I would love Kenyans to plant more trees. But I'll say this, that the biggest carbon deniers, or what we call climate change deniers, are the United States. Even if Kenya today plants 10 billion trees, our total contribution in the pollution of the world is 0.00001.
001.
Yeah, it doesn't make any.
The emissions.
Total
Yes,
emissions from Africa is less than 0.1 in the globe. The biggest polluters in the world are the United States, China, India. Those are the areas they need to concentrate on more trees. And that's why they are saying that they'll give you what they call that carbon credit. Carbon credit, because they're the people who are polluting 99 or 98%, and we are just less than 2% worldwide. How does this play into Kenyan perspective? The Kenyan perspective is that since we want some money, so we've decided to devise a holiday.
Yes, leaves.
So we devised a holiday and said Monday is a holiday, plant trees. A noble thing. But the people you want to plant trees, you have not availed the seedlings. And I'm saying you have not availed the seedlings because I know in the villages where people would love to plant trees, they do not, the cost of a seedling, and I want us, the seedlings are very, I buy seedlings all the time. The cheapest seedling you'll get is maybe 10 shillings. But their trees, the seedlings are 500 shillings. I bought a seedling the other time for 2,000 shillings, one. It depends with the tree I want to plant in my farm. So you see, the cost of these seedlings are so high, and you need to plan a proper way of management and how to provide them, give them a chance, and also pick the right time to plant.
Sure.
My problem with the government is that they have realized that they need to make money because of COP28, which is in the next month. So they are actually this month, 29th and 30th
End
of this month.
yeah.
So what they are going to sell, you know, Kenyans, we know how to sell hope.
Yes.
We are going to sell in Dubai that in Kenya we even had a holiday
For planting trees.
for planting
Yeah.
trees.
And
And
Kenyans
we
participated.
planted 10 million trees in Kenya
In one day.
in one day
Yes.
to mitigate climate change.
Who's counting?
My friend, plant trees, but let not government use you. Plant food, what we call fruit trees for kids to eat mangoes, eat vegetable, eat avocados. We need, in schools especially, what we call fruit trees in schools are very important. So kids, there are people who don't have food.
Yeah.
Then also plant trees for shades for people to rest, because we walk long distances and it's hot for climate and weather.
Yeah.
As,
And
as landscaping for your home.
yeah,
That's also
even
another
even
thing.
even as you mentioned, even many people even walk many long durations of even lengths to even get even small things like even water, even places which are even dry. Well, guess what? Some content creator, aka Mr. Beast, he decided to come here in Kenya and actually dig a whole bunch of wells, a total sum of 52 wells in Kenya alone. Of course, he did all of Africa. He also did even over 100 wells, it was over 1,000. He's going to do over 100 wells, but he decided to do 52 wells in Kenya alone. Now, one thing I even, a lot of people were giving a backlash on, this is not the first time Mr. Beast has done activities in Kenya. Mr. Beast, even I follow him, even a big-time YouTuber, even over 100 million subscribers on YouTube. He does a lot of philanthropy activities. He even did several blindness, like people have partial blindness. He even came here, did an initiative. He helped even people with just a simple procedure for them to cure that partial blindness. Even beyond that, he's even done e-bikes. Even here in this Kenya, for people who have bikes, even now transporting water, he even brought in some e-bikes and everything. Now these wells, which he drilled, which are now going to be actually now the ones that are long-term, not these ones that you see our governors and our leaders out here cutting a ribbon and saying that we have done work. You can see, bro. Even you see that, you know those placards. You know that, yes. You know the two placards that they have.
And
a picture of me. This is whatever, and we
the-
have done one well.
The governor and the MCA.
Yes, exactly. And then the person who actually did, you know,
Yes.
those two placards.
Contract.
You've seen them before. And they actually do that. This guy did 52 of them. He came and went and did his thing over 8 months ago. And the main thing I would say is this. These activities that always have a way that even a guy, a person from a foreigner coming to Kenya, for them to execute such an activity in such a short period of time and actually execute it and do it and done, and after that then leave, while the government here is actually not even able to even execute even one of those. Even when they do one of them, they're like, hey, well, congratulate me. You've not seen the work I've done, Yawa. And that main thing is now in the sense that, how do you think, not even how do you think this make the government look, how do you feel about that some Kenyans literally have to rely on foreigners for them to come and execute a basic need for them to survive?
why is the government making us a charity case in the first place? Because the government is making us a charity case whereby someone saw a need that they could not do and decided to do. Whatever Mr. Beast did was a noble cause. As a YouTuber, we taxpayers don't have the wells. We pay tax. We don't pay Mr. Beast unless we watch his video and not skip ads. But in real sense, he thought that we needed the wells, or he felt that we needed them. And you've said that he does so many projects in Kenya.
He did 2 or 3.
Yeah, we are a charity case. The government is making us look that way, and that's where he's coming to do it. So for him, that's a noble thing he's doing. But how does that make us look like? Because there's no day he's come and found that, oh, you guys are okay. And next time he'll find another need that he needs to cover, because you don't feed someone who is throwing away food. You are going to feed someone who is hungry. You don't go out dressing someone who is donating clothes. So this is someone who has heard our cry. And remember, in the news, we are constantly recording our problems and spreading it out there. And nowadays, news travels so fast and so wide for people to see. Like anyone can post, like he posts his video and you watch, we can post anything, like our problems, and it will be seen. Even right now, you go online, you watch KTN on YouTube. Someone in UK is watching KTN on YouTube. Someone in US is doing the same. Everyone is watching KTN on YouTube. So we are showing them how that cow is not getting water. Why would Mr. Beast feel like it's so cheap to do that, considering even the dollar rate is showing that? It's so cheap to do that. So let me go there and help this country that is suffering, not for my glory, but for the sake of they need it. So the government is making us a charity case, and I applaud Mr. Beast for seeing the need. I wish I had the money, I would have seen the need. I would have done the same. But the government should stop making taxpayers a charity case. And these things that they put, done by so and so for just clearing a sewage, that's nonsense. Like I came here, 2 people, dig that place where the water can flow, and then put a whole billboard that I made your drainage. That's nonsense. The government should come and work. Let the taxpayers not be complaining.
I think even just to add on, Kenyans celebrate mediocrity.
Yeah.
We celebrate mediocrity, and hence, when someone even from outside even does something beyond the mediocre level, we celebrate it beyond realms. And we give a hand clap and we clap for them, because we're so used to mediocrity from even our leaders and governance. Now, having even heard about the Mr. Beast story, what are your thoughts as a leader yourself?
I feel happy. But honestly, I think we have lost it, and I have just a little bit of advice for our head of state, because nowadays everything he pronounces is equivalent to an executive order. That is how people take it, and that's how reactions are. So I would really urge him to take 5 steps back and breathe in and work for the people of Kenya. We cannot live like this. We cannot progress this way. We cannot have, out of 1 liter, that is 217, 82 shillings going to taxes. It is unsustainable. And with that huge percentage, then it cascades to every other aspect of life. We need philanthropy, we need NGOs, we need international donors to come and help us. But many of them, by the way, are not comfortable. Kenya has just lost it in terms of being a destination for even investments for the private sector. People are going to Tanzania. We have lost it. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need a serious conversation between government, private sector, international NGOs, local NGOs, CBOs, villages, households. We need a conversation. Where we start, how we do it, the direction it takes, I don't know. But we must. Otherwise, the way things are now, Is what you are saying.
We can't. we give up.
So,
What do you think?
you know, the good book, the Bible tells us that, and I always peg it, that whatever the right hand does, let not the left hand know. And what Mr. Beast did is that he just followed the biblical teaching, that he's not yapping about helping the poor, clothing the poor, the widows and the childless, and all those things. The problem we have in the Republic is that our political system is a hero worship system. So when you have a hero worship system, you want to go and do something for the gram, for television, not for the people to see. I was having a conversation earlier on that there's a county when they wanted to do a water tanker, this firefighter's engine. They rehabilitated an old lorry, and instead of that extinguisher, they put the car wash machine. They passed it as you see how we do things. The corruption is inherent in us, that anything we want to do, you want to put it, equate it to how you'll make money. So now when you want to do charity, you don't do charity because you have the interest of the people at heart. Mm-hmm. It is for you to be seen. So when Mr. Beast comes, he wants to do charity, he doesn't want to be known. The other day, a friend of mine went to Norway, one of our editors, senior editors went to Norway, and he was being asked by a Norwegian journalist. There's a village in Samburu that they've been digging, there's a family in Norway has been digging boreholes for them, and they've done like almost 100 boreholes, water and all this. And in a remote part of this county that you wouldn't even know. So he said, but do you know this place? We are going to Kenya to cover these boreholes. There are like 100 of them. Then I asked myself, Samburu has a governor. Water is one of their problems. They've never seen need to provide water to its citizens. Kajiado the same. Everywhere the same. Mandera the same. So, and the rich people in this country now, the super billionaires, you will never hear a billionaire doing anything for the community. Even a cancer center, we will never build. So our problem is hero worship. Number two, our problem is our bad political system. And number three is our top leadership. Our top leadership does not understand that the country needs a recalibration. You need to recalibrate the whole entire system and say, this is our country, this is a conversation, this is what we need to do to save this country.
Now the key thing is, how do we start it even from us when we're voicing the thing? How can now, even us as Kenyans, make sure we can point out all the, like for example, we've done on this show, even as we wrap up, like now we've pointed out all the issues even the government, even we've experienced in under 1 year. I mean, it's about 1 year and some few months. Now we've pointed out all the issues. Now the key thing is this. How can we then, even as citizens, even those guys who are watching, how can you put your foot on your neck, forget even the top part, even on that local MCA of yours, who you have even forgotten that you actually voted for? How can you make sure you put your foot on your neck to make sure even those funds that are even coming to him, how is he making sure that that pothole outside your house is now actually a thing that they need to actually be, they need to actually even execute and actually work on? Because as Kenyans, we think our activities end the moment we put our hand in that election box. But that's when you actually begin. Put your foot on your throat on your leaders to like make sure that indeed we get some real results, not them putting a foot on our necks with taxes and other issues. And then they come here and give you words. Oh, it's not us, it's Hamas. Where?
We only know the number plates of our MCAs. That's only the only thing we know. We know it's passing.
let's have the parting shots today.
Yes.
When it's time.
Yes.
So what's your parting shot, Maria, today?
I feel like the government we have right now, we don't want to see the big number plates with your name on it. We need to see the work. And most importantly, please take care of the floods. And on Monday, allow us to rest because you've already given us holiday.
What do you think? Your body share?
I've really enjoyed this show.
Welcome.
Does it happen every day?
We wish.
Because I
Every
think
Sunday.
you guys are so experienced. I'm feeling like I have scored.
Welcome, you've done
Distinction.
really well.
Oh, really?
We are honored. We are honored to have you.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have been part of the Let's Be Real. And what I would like to urge our viewers, just manage your expectations. Deal na hali yako, because your MCA will do nothing for you. Your governor will do very little for you. From the look of things, things are going to get tough. And unfortunately, when we elect, what I have seen in the community, people start swearing that huyu tutamutoa. So we have to change our mindset. We need to elect people wenye hatutatoa.
Yeah.
That is a parting shot. So let us interrogate ourselves, the decisions we make. Let us look at government policies and programs, and let us demand for them.
Okay, and that's true. Even as Kenya, even you was taking time to consume us with your balls of eyes. I want to tell you, that indeed you are indeed someone who needs to now take action and actually hold your leaders accountable. And what does that look like? That looks like this. When you see a local MCA, you actually hold them accountable. By the way, hiyo ni nini ulisema, would you do this and this and this? Not, niaje mheshimiwa kuja kwa hii harambe. No. Demand for them execution of work, not harambe cards. Don't give them a harambe card. Demand them execution of what they said. And that will actually be the first step for us now stopping to give this somber narrative of like, guy, tumechoka. Apana, we are now starting. Hey, let's go.
I think that the most important thing is that apart from managing expectations and knowing what your MCAs are doing and dealing with them, please, next time when you go to vote, think about yourself. Think about how you want your kids to live. Think about how you want your country managed and how you will benefit from it. Otherwise, you will come here the same thing. We say that anyone who does the same thing over and over again is a fool. And we are not saying that Kenyans are fools. But don't get it there. Remember in Tanzania the other day, when the new president came in, Samia Suluhu gave Mama Janet a new house. When our new president came, the other leaders raided the other former president's land.
And the children.
And the children.
And the mother.
And the mother. Is that
Jesus.
what you live as Kenyans? Can't we even borrow good neighborliness from our Tanzanian friends, where you honor your ex-leaders?
I know.
It's Let's Be Real. We keep it real all the time.
Yeah.
We have to.
We have
by
to.
force.
Let's be real.
Yes?
Because if we don't,
And Togeges, please get real.